Hello and welcome everyone to the fourth program in our Outlander Highlands to Carolina series, Scotland Through the Lens, Travel Photography with Jenny Nordstrom. Excuse me. We're glad you're here and we hope that you've enjoyed the three previous programs and are excited as we are for tonight's entry. I'm Erin and I'm here with Heidi in the background. If you want to hop on and say hi, Heidi, you can do that.
Hello,
We're still
everybody.
both
Welcome.
librarians. Hi, Heidi. We're still both librarians with Wake County Public Libraries right here in North Carolina's capital county and capital city. Excuse me, you guys. Okay, y'all know the drill. Chat's going to be turned off right now while I run through some housekeeping. Heidi's going to put a bunch of stuff in chat so you guys can see it and not be super distracted because I already see lots of people chatting. And everybody's been to Scotland except for me, apparently. So I should go. Okay, so tonight, what do we have? Program. It's going to be about an hour, like our other ones, with time for questions at the end, time permitting. We have captions and transcripts available from Zoom during this program, and you can toggle those on and off as you wish on the Zoom toolbar on your screen. We are recording this, of course, and you'll get the link to where the recording will live in the post-program email. But also keep an eye on the website for the series. You see the address right there on your screen. We will post the recorded programs under their respective tabs when they're done, processed, and ready for viewing. So check your email and then check the website. And we are midway, as I said, through our Outlander Highlands to Carolina virtual series. Wow. This program is the fourth in the series. And as always, we have many resources for you. So visit our webpage to learn everything. You can also sign up for the remaining programs in case you haven't done that yet. And any information gathered tonight, of course, will go on the website and in the post-program email. You guys know how that works, right? And then lastly, please use that chat feature to post questions, to chat with us. Please chat with each other. We've got the questions submitted through registration, so we're good with that. And take a second now to set your chat audience to everyone. So when you ask a question or comment and we reply, we don't sound silly and like we're talking to ourselves. Heidi's going to be putting a bunch of information in chat about how to turn it off if you'd wish. She's going to tell you a couple different ways to do that because we know some people don't want to chat. We also know some people do want to chat. So you can set your chat accordingly as I continue to ramble a little bit and go through this introduction. So next up in the series, we have two programs that are very closely intertwined with Outlander. Register for these if you haven't yet by going to the address you see at the bottom of the slide. And also we'll be putting this information in, you guessed it, that post-program email. So we also told you that you'd be seeing this slide again and again and again. And here it is. WCPL has a quick exit survey that we would love for you to take part in. If you scan the code on your screen or just wait for that email and click the link in there, tell us how we're doing. We've already received some feedback from previous programs, and bless you all for saying such nice things about this series and Wake County Public Libraries in general. We so appreciate your support. And now I'm pleased to welcome fine arts photographer Jenny Nordstrom to the program tonight. Jenny is hugely inspired by travel, and you'll see that a deep passion for color is at the heart of her fine art photography. She's always on the lookout for something authentic and believes that even ugly can be fascinating and beautiful if you look at it the right way. And if you are in the area, go visit her at the Torpedo Factory Arts Center in Arlington, Virginia. She's got a studio there. It's amazing. Make the trip. It'll be worth it. And then lastly, a little bit of managing expectations for tonight's awesome program. This is called Scotland Through the Lens, not Outlander through the lens. So, well, Jenny will show some of her gorgeous photography that may be Outlander related. Much of it is just Scotland in all its glory, and I think we can all agree that Scotland is pretty darn glorious. So chances are good you're not going to see a photo of that one spot on the road where Jamie and Claire were on the horse talking about the thing the one time. This is Scotland in all its glory. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the stunning travel journey of Scotland through the lens. Welcome, Jenny. Jenny is fresh from an amazing trip to New Zealand also. So how is that jet lag treating you?
It has been brutal.
We're
It has
so glad
been
you're here
it
tonight.
has been the worst jet lag I've ever had, but that is okay. I was 100% worth it. Amazing country. Loved New Zealand. If you
And we've
haven't
got
been
some
there
sneak
yet, definitely
peeks.
go.
We've
What's
got
that?
some sneak peek photos
Yes, at the
in
very
here a
end,
little
I
bit.
threw in a couple of New Zealand photos just to give you a little sneak peek of what's coming next.
Fantastic. All right, take it away.
All right. Hang on here. First of all, hi everybody. Thank you so much for coming. This is fun. And I just recently started reading the Outlander series myself. So now I'm a fan, but I wasn't yet when I went to Scotland. So Scotland. Um, so like Erin said, they are not always going to be things that are necessarily about Outlander, but there are a few. So let me get my screen shared here and not waste any time blathering on about it. Okay, I think we are good to go. Everybody can see this? Yeah?
Yes, looks good.
Okay, good. All right, so uh somebody asked in the preliminary questions how I got started photographing Scotland. Um, so I actually have been to Scotland twice. Yep, my name is, hang on, I gotta make out a technical problem here. Hang on. Okay, there. So I've been to Scotland twice. Um, The first time was in 2022, a long time ago, with my late husband, John. And we were in the middle of a giant 7-week trip through Europe. And one of the last places we went was Scotland, and we both loved it. Like I've wanted to go back ever since. So here we are in Scotland, just a little personal photo. And this is the place that both of us really just fell in love with, mostly the Highlands, because that was where we were in Edinburgh, and then we just rented a car kind of spontaneously, not really even knowing what to expect. Drove up into the Highlands, found the heather and the beautiful rocks. We loved, the quirky people in their tartans, playing crazy music. And just the dry sense of humor. This says, sorry, no fish, which I don't know why. I just think that's hilarious. And these are all images from my 2002 trip with John. And of course, amazing stone bridges just sitting by the side of the road. We really set out with almost no agenda. We went to a couple of whiskey tastings and just found magical things. Anyway, these are very old photos, but the rest of the series tonight is mostly going to be focused on my recent trip, which was much more recent. We just went in April 2025, and I went with my family. This is my sister and my mom and my dad. And this is the first time we had traveled together since probably high school, just the four of us. It was really fun. We had a great time. So somebody had asked for a map, so I tried to accommodate. This is where we started, of course, was in Edinburgh, which, if you haven't been there, is just a wonderful, historic, gorgeous city. It is very touristy and also somehow just dignified and modern and in a historic and beautiful and really, really beautiful. And its course is crowned always by the castle on the hill, which overlooks everything and is quite beautiful when you go up close too, of course. Lots of interior details I thought were really wonderful. I all of these statues are outside one of the chapels, and this is from the armory, the benches, and of course the cannons, which go off every day, and the armory. But really, for me, I think Edinburgh is just about the buildings and the buses and the colors, and those rooftops are so iconic. And of course, the red bone boots, because come on. This, of course, is the Royal Mile, which I'm sure if any of you have been to Scotland, you've been there. Long trip, long road of mostly, I think, whiskey and tartans and whatever else they were trying to sell us, cheap things. I'm a color lover, as she mentioned, so I'm constantly looking for color, and I was really lucky. This one was right next to our hotel. This is the famous Victoria Street. And as you can see, this was definitely my street. All the colors, all the architecture, and anybody who knows me knows that I have a thing for doors. So you'll see throughout this series that there'll be pictures of doors scattered through. Some people think that's all I do, but actually I do take pictures of other things as well. And I went out on my rooftop at night to take a beautiful sunset and nighttime picture of the castle. And after that, we went to this really beautiful area called Dean Village. Super cute little area with the river running through it, little bridges, everything we love about Scotland. More doors, of course, and awesome pubs, as one would expect. Cute little villages and streets. I mean, this is for me, all of this is Edinburgh. And of course, creepy cemeteries, which are also everywhere in Scotland, I think. Wonderful details. And finally, I went up onto the hill. I'm embarrassed to say I forgot to look up what the name of this place is, but this is one of the really famous overlooks for the city of Edinburgh. And you can see the castle way off there in the distance. So that was one of the last places I went. And after that, we hopped on a train, and then we hopped on another train. So it turns out my father is a train aficionado. So that was one of our big focuses in Scotland. That was how we got around everywhere. But we took the historic Strathspey Railway. Can't even talk. Strathspey Railway. Say that 3 times fast through the Cairngorms, which is a gorgeous area, right on the British Railways line. And I'm here to tell you, it's actually really hard to take pictures out of a moving train. This is me trying, and my sister, but I did okay with some of it. So here's one of we actually had a point where I can't remember exactly how this worked. So we got to a certain point, and then the train switches tracks, comes around, and comes and like pulls us backwards, if I remember right. It was like so the train actually comes right up next to us. It was crazy. Anyway, and then we went through the beautiful Cairngorms. Saw cows, of course. I'm proud of this one because I took that from a moving train. It's really hard, guys. There are fewer pictures in this session than others. And of course, this is one of our stops where we got a chance to get out. They have these little bridges that go over so people can go when the train's going. So I got to get a down view of the train. It was gorgeous. One of the few places, actually, I'm not sure if I included one, but it's one of the few places I saw snow in Scotland in April at that time. And then we hopped on another train and went up to beautiful Inverness, which is one of the most beautiful places I think I saw in Scotland. I really wish I could have spent a little more time there, honestly. It was a really charming little town, and but every morning we were off on tours, so our actual time in the city itself was a little quiet. So here is there's this very prominent church, and I actually really love graveyards, so I have quite a few pictures of those as well. And of course, Inverness, I feel like Inverness in particular, for some reason, really had a lot of great pubs. This is one of the classic things for me in Scotland, along with some good music, right? Sorry, I don't have a recording of that. I had some recordings, but I couldn't figure out how to integrate them into my presentation. I'm not that tech savvy about presentations. There's some more pubs and just it's got skinny little alleys and walkways. The best things about Inverness. That little bridge is a pedestrian walkway. And the next place, like I said, every morning we got up really early and went on a tour. So our first one was through the Highland Glens, which is really iconic. To me, that's where I was with John on my first trip. And so the Highlands to me are just everything about Scotland. And this is some place you might recognize. So this was actually used in the Outlander series for one of the houses, I guess one of the little villages at one point. So that, but it is actually the Highland Folk Museum. And they have all these really cool historic thatch roofed houses. It was actually really fun to walk around. And of course, they have it, appropriately decorated. That's some cotton down there in a tartan. And it's just beautiful views everywhere you look. And those rocks really, the fences really speak to me. But everywhere in the Highlands is beautiful. So you've got beautiful flowers everywhere. It was spring, so we had these giant fields full of whatever this was. I think golden, no, was that goldenrod? I don't know what this is, but there were fields of them everywhere. It might have been gorse. Anyway, it was everywhere. And driving through that area is spectacular. This is the famous Glencoe, which it's really hard to convey the scale of this place. If you can really, you can see the cars way over on the right there. It's absolutely so dramatic and enormous. I mean, if you see the roads, that's a small country road, but it still gives you an idea. It was just really iconically beautiful. That's with my wide angle lens, so you can really see like the whole thing. It's fantastic. And there, of course, is a Highland cow because you got to have one of those. They're actually, I had to talk to my driver about 1,000 times. I'm like, we need a Highland cow. We need a Highland cow. And he finally found me one. So the next day, we went up to an area called the Moray Coast, which a lot of tourists never make it up there. But this is actually the heart of the reason why my family, the four of us, went to Scotland. Is that we actually are a little bit Scottish ourselves. We are part of the Innis clan. This is the tartan. I don't know if you can still see me. I'm wearing the tartan. I'll show you later if not. Uh, and So part of our goal on this trip was, as a family, was to actually try to trace down our actual clan. It was a tiny, tiny clan. Uh, so this is the area that in the Moray Coast area that we were looking at, and it's way up there at the top. And as you can see, compared to some of the other clans, there's very, very small area. So we didn't know if you'd find anybody. So Dipple is apparently where we're from. And this little spot called Crofts of Dipple was approximately 3 houses big. It was the tiniest thing you've ever seen. Like, don't blink. We drove past it in about 3 seconds. But we also stopped at this farm called Dipple Farm. It was really cool. Uh, and then we found this ancient cemetery that was right in the middle of the farmer's field. And magically, there they were. This is the Innis clan. And I have to tell you guys, this is probably the most magical part of the whole trip for me because I was just, it's one thing to know that you have some Scottish blood, you're from there. We find out we probably left because of the change in the king basically took over the whole land and kicked off all the sheep herders so nobody could ever graze their sheep anymore. That's why we left. Like there was so many things that we found out, but actually to walk into a cemetery and find our family, that was really, really, really magical. So I just wanted to share a little bit of my personal part of the trip. I thought you guys would enjoy seeing my ancestors as much as I did. But back to the Moray Coast, the rest of it. So this is the Elgin Cathedral. I think it's cathedral or castle. I think it's a cathedral that I love falling apart things. So I was completely obsessed with this. You can see there's not much left of it, but there's parts of it that are still intact. I just thought this was really cool. And of course, it's whiskey country. So we stopped off and did a little gift buying here and there at different distilleries. They all have this really classic chimney set. I don't know. They all look like this and they're really pretty. And of course, they have whiskey barrels everywhere for everything. Another door. And then we went to Gordon Castle because there are very famous royal gardens there. I'm just showing a few pictures of these because I took about 1,000 pictures of tulips while I was there. So I'm just going to show you a couple because I didn't want to like bore you with all the family, the flower pictures. It's a really, really pretty garden. And of course, I found doors there too. But this is probably my favorite thing. This is called Bow Fiddle Rock. And you can see if anybody plays the violin or knows anything about fiddling, like that top part there looks just like the part where you hold a fiddle bow. So that's what they call it. And it's but not just the rock. The rock was pretty cool, but it's the whole area. I don't know. Maybe it was my ancestors coming out, you know. I just felt such a strong connection to this coastline. It just felt really happy there. And you can see that yellow stuff on the hill over there, that's the gorse that was everywhere. These big yellow bushes, they're gorgeous. And there's some people there. I can sort of imagine that's my ancestors, you know, sitting on the edge of the rock looking out. So after that, we took another train and we went to the famous Isle of Skye of Scotland. And sometimes this is a family trip, so I wasn't as focused on photography as I always am. It wasn't just a work trip, it was more of a family trip, and I was sort of, trying to not take too many pictures. I didn't honestly succeed. I took a lot of pictures. But this is supposed to be my day, the Isle of Skye, right? Very famous, very iconic, and I was so excited. And then the weather hit. Sometimes you think you're going to get big, beautiful, glorious skies and golden landscapes, and sometimes you get rain, which means that your pictures start to look like this. I stopped with my tripod to take a picture of this beautiful stream, and all I can tell you is somebody also asked in advance about preparing for weather. If you're going to be someplace like Scotland, all I can tell you is bring a lot of microfiber cloth spare lens because I went through all of mine and every single one that my family had trying to keep my lens clean that day. It was horrible. But I did eventually manage to make this one work. But it took a lot of wiping of the lens. And it turns out, you can't really plan for weather, but you can embrace it. So once I sort of shifted my head away from the glorious golden green landscapes I thought I was going to have, I had a lot of fun actually with the mist. This is one of my favorites. This is actually the important part of this is way in the back. That's called Tartan Rock because it looks, when you see it closer, it actually does look like it's got a tartan built into it. It's got all these striations and of course a beautiful waterfall in front of it. And this is the actual really iconic spot in Isle of Skye. It's shoot, what is it called? I should have written this down. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's this giant overlook that where you're supposed to be able to see for like miles and could not see for miles. But again, sometimes you just adjust and you take sort of really minimalist, misty, funky photos instead, which I really enjoy as well. And no sun means you can do a really slow exposure. This is the guide who was driving us around that day was a photographer, so he knew about this waterfall and he and I hiked down a million steps to get to it. And then there's this beautiful bridge that is also very iconic for the Isle of Skye. With usually you can see the mountains all around it, but it's gorgeous even with just the tips of them. And this is the cute little town of Portree, which it rained the whole time I was there, but at least it's colorful. I had fun walking around in the rain. And of course, more waterfalls. Oh, and here is one. This is one for you Outlander people. So this is Flora McDonald's gravestone, which she's apparently in season 6, and she's the one who rescued Prince Bonnie Charlie, right? Bonnie Prince Charlie. Sorry, I'm getting it all wrong. Uh, so my guide helped me find this one for you guys. And again, all you can do is just sort of embrace the mist. I kind of love how this one turned out. like I said, I like things that are ugly and falling apart just as much as beautiful, traditionally beautiful. And it's a pretty beautiful place. Isle of Skye, you can't really go wrong. Oh, so okay. Somebody had asked about my editing, my process, and asked whether I use editing software. Yes, I absolutely 100% do. And I make no apologies for it. I love the editing process. To me, it's actually about 50% of what I do. To me, I'm an artist first and a photographer second. So, for me, the end result is what's important. Uh, and it is so I'm trying to give you a feeling. I'm trying to give you a sense of place. I'm trying to make you have a genuine emotion similar to what I feel when I'm in a place. So sometimes that means that if you get somewhere and the weather hasn't cooperated, or you just don't have exactly what you were looking for, you might do a little editing, which is what I did. And I'm in the process now of sort of changing my artistic process to do more of that and to take it further. So this is a perfect example. So this is my picture of the Eileen Donan Castle, which is, as you can see, a gorgeous castle. And this is a perfectly fine picture, but I decided to see if I could take it further. So there's a couple of stages of this process. So this is where it started. And then ready? I added in the reflection because that just seemed like that would really bump it up. And then ready? I replaced the sky. And suddenly it's a whole other picture. And I just love the warmth that the sky brings out in this. Some people may think it's cheating, but I don't think it's cheating. To me, it's more about, like I said, creating like the ultimate version of something so that you really have a real emotion for it. And there was nothing wrong with the first picture, but I just think this takes it to the next level. So that's something I've been focusing on recently. After that, we took a ferry and then another, no, we took a train and then a ferry and then another train. I'm trying to remember the process to get to Glasgow. So some people don't like Glasgow. I loved Glasgow. I think it's a very architecturally oriented city. It's much bigger than the other places in Scotland, and it's a lot grittier. It is a lot more about graffiti and about murals and about color. This is one of those beautifully ugly pictures. I know most of you are probably going to hate this picture. I love it because I love graffiti, I love color, I love texture. And this is to me, I know it's a picture of trash cans. I know, but I love this. And it's just something about the composition and the balance and the colors and just the grit of it. This is really pretty classic Glasgow, which is like why some people hate it. And this one I love. This is like literally an old abandoned flower shop that somebody just graffitied up. I love graffiti. And doors, by the way, it's a door also. And here's me with a mural. There's a whole mural thing. My sister took this picture of me in work. So my favorite thing, so given all of that, given what I just said about Glasgow, uh, I love that one of my very favorite pictures from Glasgow actually is not what you would expect at all from Glasgow. In fact, you would never know that that's where it's from because it's not about the architecture. This is the train station. Uh, and it's not about the nightlife. Instead, I think it's the next shot. Nope, it's not about the colorful houses, which of course I look for, but this is the magic of travel to me. So I went looking for this rainbow set of houses because obviously I want to photograph those, right? That's me. I'm all about color, I'm about architecture, I'm about doors. So I took a taxi all by myself, went to this neighborhood, took all the pictures of the rainbows. But what it led me to after that, I was done and I'm like, well, what else is here? And I looked and I discovered that there was an overlook over the city. And I was like, oh, well, let me figure out where that is. And I hiked up this big hill. I'm like huffing and puffing and huffing and puffing and huff. And it was like, and I was like, am I ever going to get to this overlook? But in the middle of getting to the overlook, I found my favorite picture in Scotland, which it's a magic fairy tree, right, guys? It's a magic fairy tree. And this is in the middle of Glasgow, which is the whole, gritty graffiti. And I mean, there is no question fairies live in here. Don't you agree? I just love this tree. and the roots and like everything about it. Anyway, I'm so happy about this picture. And my favorite thing about it is that it's in the grittiest city in Scotland. Anyway, just a little backstory there. I did find more color and more doors because that's what I do. I love this. I don't know what they were doing in there. I think they were fixing this old car, but and then my family, we all went to the University of Glasgow campus, which looks a lot like Hogwarts, in my opinion. I mean, everything about it really kind of had that Hogwarts feeling. I mean, look at it. But the reason I went there was because I had heard about this place, which is one of my other very favorite pictures in Scotland. This is called the Cloisters. And two pictures before we were looking at the outside of it. This is actually literally just a pass through between two buildings. Uh, and so there's a courtyard on one side, courtyard on the other side. And it took me, I can't even tell you how long, with my tripod sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for there to be no people in it. But you only need 1 second. That's all you need. So I finally got it. Finally got my shot. And as you can see, it turned out pretty well. Real happy with that one. And that's it. That's it for my Scotland photos. So, but I thought since I did just get back from New Zealand, I would give you guys a little tiny sneak peek. I just have 4 or 5 pictures, and I decided to start with sheep because it's still Scotland, right? It's almost like Scotland. At least not the cutest lambs. I did a I did a hike out to a hut, and we went right through a sheep farm. So they were right there, right by the side, and I love this little lamb butt picture. Is that not the cutest? It was fun to be able to get really up close to them. I didn't get so close in Scotland because we're always in the car. Anyway, but here's a few other sneak peek classic shots. Are you ready? Woo! This is called That Wanaka Tree. And this tree grows in the middle of the water, and it's super iconic and famous. It's one of the classic spots to take a photograph in New Zealand. So, of course, I took a lot of them. New Zealand's pretty spectacular, you guys. And this is pretty classic for New Zealand. The lupins were out, which I was super excited about. All of the lakes are like this bright blue, like very glacial, the lakes and the rivers and snow-capped mountains. It is really, really beautiful. And I also got a Milky Way shot. This is at Lake Tekapo, which is on let's see, the eastern side, sort of halfway down, another really famous spot. And this is called the Church of the Good Shepherd. And I had the first night we were there, it had been like this brutal day of driving. And I still was like, well, look at that sky. Guess I better go outside. So I did. And thank God I did because I got this one. And that's it. That's the whole shebang. And I'm open to questions.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I kind of just want you to go back to the beginning and just, can we see them all over again?
That would be fun. Oh, and this is if you couldn't see it,
Oh,
this is my Innis tartan. Can you see it now?
you're kind of
Hang on,
disappearing
hang
because you
on.
got the
Oh,
background.
oh, dang it. Wait, there we
There
go.
you go. Love it. That is
That is
fantastic.
trippy. That was really trippy.
That
Well, you might recognize the background one. That was the Isle of Skye photo that I showed you guys. So
stunning. Like so I can't. I tried to pay attention to chat because people were like commenting on the places and telling whatever. I was just looking at your pictures.
that's fine. That's
That's all I
fine.
was doing. We do have
Should I
uh
stop sharing? I need to stop sharing, right?
yes, you
Yes.
could go
Okay.
ahead and do that because we're gonna send
Write down
out.
my website before you go.
Yep, we're gonna
Not
we're
all
gonna
a
send
lot of
out
these are not
contact.
on there yet, but if you saw something in particular that you liked, you can always email me. It's Jenny at JennyNordstromPhotography.com, or
Perfect.
Instagram message is fine too.
And that information is going to go out in the post program email, and it's also on our the website for the series, all of her contact information. So please, and if you're headed towards Arlington, Virginia area,
Alexandria, actually.
Alexandria, I'm
Alexandria.
sorry,
That's okay.
Alexandria.
That's okay. It's
Um,
Old Town. It's right in the heart of Old Town Alexandria.
Stop
Beautiful,
it.
beautiful
Say
area in
hey.
DC.
See the prints like in real life kind of thing. Okay, so I do have like a lot of questions. I'm not gonna lie. So we'll do kind of practical ones first and then move into some other things. Lots of questions about your camera and lens
Oh, right,
and
right,
what
right.
you use. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure, I'm happy to. And so first things first. So I'm a Nikon girl. I have the Nikon D750, which is a wonderful full frame professional camera. I love it. It is not the latest and greatest, and I don't care. Like to me, because this is part two. The camera doesn't matter. I mean, it matters a little, but technique is way more important than camera. And I always tell people that if you're looking to get into photography, I would invest in technique first. Get a like a used cheap camera, something that has maybe decent, and then move on later once you know who you are, what you want to say, because then you know what equipment you need. And because if you have the best camera in the world, but you don't know how to use it, then and you put it on automatic, which you can do, but then the camera is making all the creative choices. So if you really want to have control over your work, then technique above all. So that's my camera spiel.
That's excellent advice.
And
And
I always travel. By the way, I will talk a little bit more about my equipment. I, I'm getting old and cameras are heavy, so I travel with as few lenses as possible. So I travel with two zoom lenses. I have a 28 to 300, which is my walk around lens I use for probably at least 90% of my photos. And then I have a wide angle 14 to 24. And then I always bring a nice travel tripod and like my computer so I can download things every night. I bring a backup drive. I'm all about backup, lots of batteries, lots of memory cards. It's heavy, but you bring what you got to bring.
so Maria just asked a question that I'm kind of curious about too, because I don't think I know. Did you go to school for photography or art, or are you self-taught or a mix of both?
I was a music major in college, but actually, so the fine art photography is like my fourth career, actually. So, uh, basically I was doing graphic design and then I got laid off from my graphic design job. So I went back to photography school because by that time I knew that's what I wanted. So it wasn't like a full like master's degree. It wasn't a program. It was a professional program available here in the DC area. And that, because I knew I had the eye. I was pretty sure that I had something. And I also knew, like I said, technique. I knew I didn't have the chops. Um, so I went back into the program and just started from scratch, started from ground zero. How the heck do you use this thing? Because I was like, f-stop, what? Depth of field? I don't understand. They confuse me. Everything seems backwards. I was always confused. And people would try to teach me, and it would just go in one ear out the other. So I was like, all right, let's just buckle down and make this happen. And it has made a world of difference for me. Like it really elevated my photography by, head and shoulders and more. So that really, like I said, technique.
All right. Um, okay. So I don't even know where to start because there's too many questions. Okay, I'm going to um do you have no, you do, and so I'm not a photographer. Okay, let's make that
Mhm.
perfectly clear. I take really good pictures of cats. That's it. But
I'm sure
I
they're
think
wonderful.
they're great. I think you only do digital photography, or do
Yes.
you do,
Yeah.
okay, just
I'm
digital.
old. I'm old. I already did film. I'm like, I have no interest. I'm like, because, and that's partly also for me. This is a personal choice. I know that film is really making a comeback, and a lot
Hmm.
of my students and interns have been film photographers, which I think I'm like great, but like I can't give you any darkroom tips. For me, because I am so interested in the editing process and that is so integral to what I do, I can't even imagine ever leaving digital photography. For me, that is just who I am. And especially because I am a color lover and that color is the heart of my work, and so much of film photography is black and white, which I love black and white photography, just not my voice personally. I know who I am. I'm a person who speaks in color. I'm an artist that speaks in color. So the editing for me is uh is what keeps me in the digital photography because I love that part of it. It's, you know, turning something that's like almost there into something amazing, you know?
Good. Okay, you mentioned editing. That's the perfect segue because I've got a couple questions about editing things. Um, the one that made me laugh is, did you add color to the lamb's ears? We had a couple comments about how the lamb's ears were like so pink and
Well, I enhanced my colors. So maybe on a I did that very quickly, threw those into the end of the presentation. So I did notice myself they were a little pink.
I love it.
I think in my later edits I might pull that back a little bit.
Okay.
And the nice thing about Adobe Lightroom, which I use, it's a very sophisticated program, and I can actually pull back individual colors. So I can leave the green the way I wanted it to be, and just pull back the pink a little, and then you can make
Wow.
really fine-tune adjustments like that pretty easily.
That's I had no
Thanks,
idea.
Patty. The fairy tree is my favorite too.
Yeah, oh my God, that
Right? I was just like, can you believe? I mean, I don't know if anybody else
well,
will ever have that picture because, like, who else would be walking? It was not a populated park. There was nobody in the park. It's just so crazy. I was
it's
like, what?
amazing.
Amazing tree.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to jump back to editing really quick because this made me laugh. Your trash can photo, um, which
I
I love because it is.
loved it.
It's brightly colored. It's this, but the thing that jumped out at me was the red and the green trash can. I think I made a comment about they were Christmas trash cans. And somebody else also noticed and wanted to know, like, did you did you change those
Nope.
trash cans or were they
Nope.
actually red and green?
And here's the thing, I am sort of pushing that kind of thing more these days. Like I am sometimes taking things in, putting things out, changing colors here and there, or just, but that kind of thing, I mean, for me, the magic is finding something that's incredible the way it is, and then just sort of taking it to the next level. So that one, that's how I found it. That's exactly how I found it.
I love that. That is a
Bumped
great
up the
photo,
colors a
I
little
think.
and
Great. Oh, so okay, we did have somebody early on, like I think it was maybe two or three photos in, and then they got the rest of yours. So clearly they want to know if you sell a calendar.
oh, okay. For years I have been doing calendars. Like it was actually how I started selling my work. And you guys, I'm really sorry to tell you that money is tight this year, and I don't know if I can do the calendars, which I've been doing for at least 15 years.
Mm.
So what I will be doing, uh, I'm going to offer them as a print on demand thing on my website. So there will be calendars, they are not there yet. I'm hoping in the next week to get those up and running because it is, November already. So
That New
uh,
Year's just coming around the
I
corner.
know. Well, and this is the problem is like I would spend usually about $3,000 out of pocket to to print the calendars, and then I have to sell them.
Hmm.
They expire. And this year I wound up having such a huge stack of them. I was actually giving them away at the end. I'm like, it's September. Please just take the calendar.
Oh.
So that was kind of a loss for me. And I just also, it's $3,000 is not something I can just do right now.
Hmm.
So I do plan to have calendars, but they're not going to be like my usual square ones. They're going to be a taller one. I did it a couple of years ago this way. They're really
Okay.
nice. And I will do a Scotland calendar.
Oh,
Maybe even a
fabulous.
New Zealand one if I can get it together.
Okay.
So yeah,
You heard it here first. Scotland
yeah.
calendar, print on
And
demand. It
Lynn,
would
yes, you can purchase Prince of the Fairy Tree. Absolutely.
That
And
was okay, good. That was the
I
next
think that one is
question.
on my website already, so you can order them there. Or, and helpful hint, if you sign up for my email list, which is the immediate thing is going to pop up, it's going to sign up for my email list. It'll give you a 20% coupon off of my anything on my website.
Love that.
Or honestly, I make a bigger profit margin if you contact me directly. And so I'm also happy to just ship something to you and get it printed and sent right to you. So yeah, basically just get in touch with me either through my website or directly. And either one of those works just fine.
I love all this behind the scenes stuff because
Yeah.
you have the photography, which is front and center. That's, the thing, but you also have the business of
Oh yeah.
photography.
I mean,
So,
and that's not, an artist, that's not an easy thing.
exactly.
Most of us really struggle with the business part of it. And, I am no different. I mean, I always have too much to do. And, I'm always behind, which is why right now I think there's only like 5 or 6 Scotland photos on my website. I will work on that. Sorry.
That's okay. You took a lot. I'm gonna go to some fun questions because this one made me laugh, and I'm hoping that you did. Did you get to see puffins on either of your trips to Scotland? I didn't even know that there were puffins
I
in
didn't either. I
Scotland.
did see them in Iceland. I don't know. Do they have puffins in
I don't
Scotland? I don't
know.
know. I did see them in Iceland. I have some really cute puffin pictures from my Iceland trip.
Oh,
But
well,
I
there you
didn't see any
go.
in New Zealand. And here's the other funny, just a side note, speaking of birds, there's many amazing birds in New Zealand, but the famous one, the kiwi, is almost impossible to see because they come out only at night and they're really shy and they're endangered. So like I never saw a kiwi, but
Oh.
it was so disappointing.
That is a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, according to chat, apparently Scotland, the things we learn
I
in
did
these
not know.
programs, really big for puffins.
Yeah. Well, I have some really cute ones from Iceland, so I think they're on
Okay.
my website if you search for them. So
Oh, good. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to do some general things just because I like to hear you talk about all the places that you've been and photographed. Let's see. What has been, because you've been to lots of places, what's been your favorite place to photograph?
ugh.
I know,
People
is that like
it is
asking me what my favorite book is?
it's like yeah, it's or like asking who my favorite child is or something. Like it's very, I've been to 31 countries over the course of my
Oh
life.
my
Now
God.
that New Zealand was 31. People ask me this all day long, and I genuinely do find it to be like the impossible question. So what I usually tell people
Sorry.
that I've been to Italy the most times, and that's someplace I'd love to photograph. Um, I think I'm just gonna have to go with Iceland because Iceland really rocked my world. I like to tell people I believe that I'm a full-time artist because of Iceland. And I don't remember if I told this story before, but it's literally I was there and I had the lightning bolt moment. I was like, this is your calling. This is what you're supposed to be doing with your life. And I was like, whoa. And then I realized I'd never really tried to actually see if I could make it work. So I came home, changed my whole energy towards art, photography, and I got into the Torpedo Factory Art Center 2 years later, which changed my life and allowed me to do this. This is where most of my income comes from now, which is incredible. So
That is fantastic.
yeah,
Anne in chat just said that she heard that Iceland is a photojournalist's dream.
I mean, it is. And here's the thing that I think is really fascinating about it. My theory, it feels so different from anywhere else. And my theory is that it's because it has almost no trees. So it's a very spare, uh, really, really quiet aesthetic of just like curves of the land. And it's really easy to do abstract things there because of that. It's really unique and just the most stunning place. All of that said, Norway and New Zealand were also iconically amazing. So I don't know why everybody doesn't go to Norway. It's incredible. But Iceland,
I've seen pictures of Norway as well, and
yeah,
I would have to agree.
it's
Um,
incredible.
okay. So I just like to apparently ask questions that are difficult for you to answer because I'm
Oh,
curious
you
about
know what?
this
I
one
just
too.
remembered one
Yeah,
from the email that you said somebody sent in advance is like, what is the one shot you're still waiting for?
that's the one that I wanted to ask.
Yeah. So, and it's the Northern Lights. I keep trying, you guys. I've been looking and looking, and I kind of saw them just now in New Zealand. Actually, I have one. I should have put that picture in. I could not see them with my naked eye, but my camera did. So, but it wasn't like those classic waves that you see. It was just this. Everything is really pink. Above that same church that I had the Milky
Oh,
Way. It's the
yeah.
same spot, but it's just the whole sky is like fuchsia and purple. So I kind of saw them, but like I want like the full Northern Lights. So I've actually wanted to go back to Iceland in the winter for that very reason. To not only because I want to go back to Iceland, but also to please try to get the Northern Lights. Please, I've tried so many times.
Well, and we've had like they were able to be seen through the camera, not
Yes.
with the eye. Just last week with the solar storm that we
Yeah.
had, people in
Well,
chat are saying like
yeah,
Minnesota and
I
Alaska
know.
and Cleveland.
See, but those
Um,
places always see them. Minnesota, Alaska, you always see them. But you know what? Actually, we were supposed to see, and this is actually really interesting too. You know, they have southern lights in New Zealand. I think it's called Aurora Australis or something like that.
yes, yeah, Australis.
Australis, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that was what I saw was actually technically the Southern Lights. And my last night there, I have a little app that was predicting, and it said it was still light outside, but it said a 37 chance, which I've never seen it that high. It's usually like maybe 16% and 20%. It was like 37. I'm like, come on. And I stayed up all night and nothing.
Oh, so
I was
that's
like, this
your
is so
bucket list
unfair.
photograph. That's
I was
your
so ready.
ah. Well, when you do get to take them and you can photograph them, I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
I hope so.
Oh,
I really, really want to take pictures of Northern Lights. I mean, as a color lover and just, they're magical, right? So
they are absolute. Yes,
it's
they
on
are
the
pure
list.
magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and I've had a couple people ask this, so they wanted to know if the red telephone booths, do they still work? Do they have telephones in
They do
them,
have phones in them.
or were they just for like
No, I think
ambiance?
they did have phones in them. And I think they were live actually. I don't know, I picked one up and I'm trying to remember if it had a dial tone. They
Okay.
do still have phones inside them. I can't remember if they worked. I did not try to make one work.
Oh, that's all right. That's still fun. Let's see
Yeah.
what else. Where are we on? Okay, we're getting close on time. Um, oh, okay. Somebody is a professional photographer, but not necessarily well practiced with landscape photography.
Mhm.
Um, you seem to take pretty good pictures of landscapes, Jenny. So do you have any tips for, because I'm assuming, again, not a photographer, but like portrait
Right.
photography is very different than landscape photography kind of thing.
And I don't consider myself to be a landscape photographer. I consider myself to be a fine art travel photographer and a
Okay.
storyteller. So sometimes the story is about landscape. Like in New Zealand just now, sometimes it's more about architecture. Like, in Mexico or Morocco was a lot more about architecture than about the landscape, except for in the Sahara Desert. So to me, I just like to figure out what's iconic about a place. So, okay, so landscape tips. My first tip is don't stand where everybody else is standing. I mean, sometimes you should, but I think it's so much more important to sort of figure out what you want to say about a particular landscape. My least favorite landscapes are the ones where I was competing with a bunch of other photographers.
Mhm.
Um, because you want something unique, right? You want to, if you're trying to say something, unless you want to capture that super iconic exactly from that one spot. I mean, some people do want that. I personally want to say something different. Um, for me, a really deep depth of field is important. So that means depth of field means it's what's in focus from the front of the image to the back of the image. So if you have flowers in the front, like in that New Zealand photo, I had
Mhm.
the flowers in the front and the mountains in the back, and I had both of those in focus. That's a deep depth of field. I could have also done the flowers with the mountains fuzzy. That's a shallow depth of field. Personally, for landscapes, I think a deep depth of field is that just it feels right for most of everything. Um, a tripod is extremely helpful if you really want it super sharp. I hate tripods, actually. I have a love-hate relationship with them, but for certain things, they are really, really helpful. Uh, there are these things called neutral density filters that you can screw into the front of your lens that makes them darker, which allows you to have a longer shutter speed and allows you to do things like you may have seen in some of my pictures, the water was really soft.
Yes.
That's
What
an
was
intentional
that?
thing. That's a slow shutter speed, and that's
Okay.
enabled often by neutral density filters. They like make the whole thing darker so that you can have your lens open longer, your shutter open longer. I mean, technique, technique.
And you make it
Um,
look so easy. Those shots, they're like magical.
once you know what to do, I mean, and if you have the right equipment, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I like to have something in the foreground on the landscapes, something to just be like on one of my Glencoe
Hmm.
pictures, that really big landscape, there were some boulders in the front. I think that helps just sort of to, because you can have really boring landscape pictures. So either framing, having something a little bit around the edges, like a tree, or boulders in the front or flowers in the front, I just think gives it just that extra punch.
Hmm.
Those are things that strike me as being really helpful for landscape photography in particular.
Nice. Good tips. Like I said, I could only give tips on how to take pictures of cats, which
I'm
is
sure they're wonderful.
take 100 photos and one will come out okay. Um,
Yeah,
did
taking 100
have
photos is actually not a bad strategy either. I mean, honestly, I take a lot of photos. I took 5,000 photos just now in New Zealand, and
5,000.
5,000. Yeah. And I took
You
about
make me feel
4,000 in
better.
Scotland. I know. So, I mean, but I'm a professional. This is my work. So I'm trying to
Yes.
capture every last little thing, and I'm experimenting all the time too.
Mhm.
Trying, because I'm a professional, but I don't have the corner on everything. There's techniques I'm still figuring out. Like the astrophotography, that's really new to me, actually. I just started doing that a few years ago, and I'm not very good at it yet. So there's always things to learn. And no matter how good you are, there's always something you don't know what you're doing about yet.
Well,
So,
apparently you're doing it right because Joanne just said that her 6-year-old said that he loves your
aw,
background photo.
thank
So
you.
there you go. I had to say that. And let's see, one last question because a few people have asked this and they want to know if you do any, if you present any workshops or trainings or classes. Do you do that?
I've been considering doing it. One thing actually I really want to do, which I have not gotten organized yet, I would really love to do like take people to Scotland and do photography there or like wherever. I'd love to do like a travel company with photo workshops on site. Like that's if I was going to do anything,
Oh,
that would be a
that
great
would
way
be
to. Wouldn't that
amazing.
be fun? I
Yes.
just it's the logistics part that kills me.
Yeah.
I need somebody. Does anybody want to come help me with the logistics part? Because I can't do that.
You need
I'm
a
not that
travel
organized.
agent and then
You do not want me
you're
in
the
charge of your
talent.
hotels. But
I think you would have a market for that, honestly.
I know. I mean, I think I mean, a lot of photographers do that. It's just one more thing on my list of things. Anyway, but I also occasionally do teach individually if you're in the area. Shoot me an email, we can talk, and
Oh,
maybe figure something
fantastic.
out.
And we will get Jenny's email and contact information and Instagram and website and all that good stuff
Thank
is going to
you.
be
Jenny Nordstrom Photography. If you search for that, you'll find me on almost
yeah,
everything.
it's not that hard, right? It's nice and simple. But we'll send it out in the email. It's also on the website. And
Michelle
um,
Taunton, you need to get in touch with me.
oh, yes, there you go. Michelle, you heard it. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. So there you go.
I can't pay
Um,
you though.
let's see. Okay. We had lots of thank yous, lots of your photos are just absolutely stunning.
Thanks so much, you guys.
Um, like, yeah, a lot of people have been to Scotland. Some people like me have not, but through your photos tonight, I kind of felt like I got there a little bit. And it also made me want to go there even more if that was possible. But lots of people saying, lovely presentation. Thank you for your passion, your work. They love
My
several people
pleasure.
I did see in chat. They also like taking pictures of doors
Oh,
and like
yay! I am
the
the
kind
door
of
lady, you guys.
rougher
Seriously.
graffiti things. So yeah, so they
No,
loved that too.
that's
They really
great.
it
No, people
spoke to
tag me
them.
on Facebook. They're like, Jenny, I'm in Amsterdam. I saw this door and thought of you. Like, people think that I am the door lady. So
You are the door
I am the
lady.
door lady. I've been
You
doing
also
that, taking
have
pictures of doors for more than 20 years. I'm actually,
your mom is on
oh, she
the
is?
program tonight, and I think two of your nieces.
Oh,
Um,
yes. I know at least one niece is probably coming on.
and they said wonderful things about you as well. So
Yay! Okay.
So family affair, because that's what your trip to Scotland was.
It
Um,
was.
so thank you so much for sharing your family trip with us, because that's kind of what you did. And then the rest of your photos, and then the few sneak peeks from New Zealand, which were
Stay tuned for
fantastic.
more.
Uh, we will. I will.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Thank you
Follow me on
everyone for attending.
Instagram. I have a really nice email list. If you sign up, I promise I will not spam you. It is a really nice list. I talk about my travel and stuff. And I mean, a girl's got to make a living. I do have some sale things sometimes, but
Yes. But also, she just takes amazing photos. So
yep.
go check her out.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. I think I think that's good for tonight. We've got another program on Wednesday, you guys. So I'll see you back here Wednesday for Outlander Kitchen with Teresa Carl Sanders. Something completely different. We go from photography to food. Both are really pretty to look at.
Both
So
are art forms.
yes. Looking forward to that. Jenny, you are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
you
you,
guys.
everyone, for attending
Thanks very much.
tonight.
It was fun doing
And
this.
yeah, let me know when you go somewhere else, and we'll just have you back again. I'm fine with that.
Yes, we could do the Lord of the Rings thing next since I just went to New Zealand. I did go to Hobbiton. It is really cool.
I'm going to hold you to that. And
Okay.
on that note, I will say thank you and good night.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.